this is where like the dance between starting to get your shit figured out and your old patterns of the personality of the person.
Yeah.
So I would say, for instance, earlier with that comment about, well, you know, the listeners don't matter kind of thing, and I can see how that can trigger, because I felt something too, like, and so then I was like, okay, great, now this is an opportunity to go back. When did I feel in my story like some sort of disrespect or you know, like a past event that is now making this one bigger than it needs to be, you know, or it would just pass through.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, how does one, like in the real world, navigate outside of, you know, meditation and all that?
Yeah.
You know, actually, I don't think I can hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, you see,
how does one mix it?
Yeah. The first thing is that I believe you've got to come to a resolution inside of yourself, like a surrender to the idea that body mind mechanism is conditioned in certain ways, and more than likely this is going to most probably trigger a few people listening. More than likely that's not going to change that much in your life. What can happen is, through awareness of your particular conditioning and your past and your way of looking at the world, that will get less, and you won't act out those patterns so strongly. So therefore, when it comes up and I say something disrespectful to the listeners, or if I did say something disrespectful, I can't even remember, I'm talking so quickly, but if I did say something disrespectful, then that pain comes up, it hits you, and then there's a moving on. When you're really identified, you would have gone into hatred for me. That's it. It would have gone into hatred and a rejection of me. But when there's more awareness around it, there is just a gentle seeing that in that moment you felt rejected, and more than likely that rejection comes from something, or the way that your parents were, your school was when you were younger. Like, in the apparent flow of things, it comes from a past experience, but there's not this strong identification with it or holding on to it. And this is a gradual process of becoming more aware of yourself. And even with the clear seeing that who you truly are isn't that, it's still going to respond in its particular ways. And there could be change. There is change to that, and there is dramatically less suffering, and dramatically less going into the stories. That's huge, but your body's always going to have its particular flavour. And when you're a spiritual seeker, because that's been so painful for a lot of people, your particular conditioning and your particular past history, you have an idea, and you also build up a dislike of yourself, or a dislike of the way you are, and you have an idea that your particular way of being is going to completely vanish. And it's not that. You've got to get to the point where you begin to fall in love with your particular colour, and your colour is going to come from your painful experiences as much as your pleasurable experiences. And you're going to be coloured even more throughout your life, through your experiences. And there has to be, and some of us have more difficult conditioning and more difficult pasts, and some of us have lighter ones. But all of it makes such an amazing colour, like the whole variety of people and different experiences and different views at looking at this reality. So it's really like waking up is, there is an extent to constantly going back to the initial feeling. So you really begin to learn that particular personality type, and you really begin to understand it. And then that never changes. So if I have a strong reaction, I'll go into looking at that strong reaction. So if I have a strong feeling that comes up, but then there comes a point where you just surrender to that. You also surrender to your particular way of being. And sometimes you'll challenge your pains and pleasures, and sometimes you won't. But you'll also get to a point where you see that you're okay. You are like okay as in, like, not okay as in you're okay, you're not going to suffer anymore, but you're okay as in you begin to like yourself again. If you look at someone else, or if you look at animals or something, the way that you appreciate their personality, even though they can have cheeky personalities or naughty personalities, or they can go against your particular conditioning and what you like. You kind of fall in love with them. And it's the same with your particular way of being. And you begin to really trust yourself because you really see the way you're formed and you really begin to understand yourself. So it's kind of like a delicate mix of seeing it and then also at the same time accepting it, but it's nobody's really acceptance, that just kind of grows over time. And seeing seeing what the seeking is, what the longing is, like why are you trying, at what point are you trying to change something, what are you longing for? So if you have a painful reaction come up to what I say, what is it then that you're longing for? What is the better thing that you want? What else is it that you want to experience?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it comes back to that same longing to be approved, or to be loved, and then that's the trace back, it seems, where it's like, wait a minute, it's already here, and this is the thing I need to start trusting, because this is the thing that moves through this experience of this flavor or this color, and then starting to trust that more, and then I believe it grows. Like it seems as if it's growing in the world of things. It's when things are really polar or strong, there's still that movement back to being hurt, but for the most part, there's more of that
trusting,
steadiness.
And it really is, because when you tend to be, if you've had a difficult childhood, then you tend to not trust yourself as a personality type. So you tend to want to look to others to trust. And I notice a lot of people that, like, this might be a controversial thing to say, but a lot of people that like the idea of gurus are very attracted to gurus, or to even to therapy or self-improvement. It's often because you want this external force to guide you, because you're so unsure of yourself. And it really is coming back to this confidence in you, and also seeing that, okay, I have that momentum, that movement to distrust myself, and then just seeing that comes up. And it really is coming back to trust that amness that you are, that presence that you are, and feeling the empowerment of that.
And this is where I think someone with a steady presence in love really helps too. I was with someone the other day, and I was able to say some more controversial things, and it was held with love, and your body just feels it right away. It doesn't even matter what they do. It's like, oh my God, I was actually heard, and they really accepted that, and like it does something to your body. And I think that's where the addiction can come from to the guru, because that's a great feeling. But it's also when you start to see it happening with more people in the world as you trust yourself more. Like things start to go away, and also you get more strength, or there's more strength because in the presence.
What people are doing often, especially when they're strongly identified, is they're always trying to get what they want. So therefore they're not listening to you, and they're not being open to that experience. They're seeing you as an object to give them what they want. And so therefore your energy has always been met by that, or up till now has been met by that. And when it's not met by that, and it's met by an openness, there is such a beautiful experience. Like your training is to expect humans, you're not even conscious, to be looking to see what they can get out of something. And so when you do begin to experience that, but really you say it was them, it's really you. Because even though you think you experience someone else, it's really you. It's you that's beginning to accept you more, and you're beginning to feel safer with other people. So it's actually all you. Like it's just that the guru or the teacher, your mind has told you that they're safe or something. Like, and it is their energy to an extent, but really it's you. Like that experience was down to you feeling more confident in relationship, because ultimately there is no relationship. There is only amness with them, and with that energy of them speaking and the energy of you speaking, and there's no position which is you.
Yeah, the closest I can get to that is the shared presence we're in. It doesn't yet feel like that's me,
Yeah.
as in, but I can totally feel the shared presence of the energy of the person that's speaking, the surrounding noises. It's still focused, in the conversation or something, but there's a gentle awareness of, the whole scene, and I'm like, wow, this is interesting because it still feels focused a bit, but it can also take in the environment as itself.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a gentle merging, normally the environment and your sense of self, that merging into it. Nice.
Right on.
So I get
Thank
to
you so
meet.
much.
So I get to meet you in a few weeks. The flight to the UK is still happening, or not to
Yeah,
the
it's
UK,
still,
to Spain. Donald Trump hasn't
yeah,
banned
everything's
anything else.
yeah, it should be good. I mean, everything's all set. I dotted my I's and crossed the T's, and got the rest I got to let go. So yeah, it's all set to roll. So
Nice.
yeah,
How
looking
exciting.
forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thanks for calling in, Lee, and